Hello, I'm Dr. Sheri Strydhorst with Sheri's Ag Consulting Inc. And today I was speaking about getting the most out of your crop rotations. I think, there's a lot of interest in diversifying our crop rotations. In the presentation, I went through a lot of the stats of the simplified rotations that we have in the northern prairies, a very dominant wheat canola rotation, in the southern prairies, a lentil durum rotation. There's many great reasons for that, but yet farmers are being pressured to diversify their rotations for the reasons of reducing the nutrients or the fertilizer that they're applying, and also for the sustainability of the system. And at the end of the day, I think farmers are left with struggling to how do they do all of these things while still remaining economically viable. Yeah, so there were 6 different rotations studied in the research that I presented under the leadership of the principal investigator, Kui Liu, and a control rotation, which is kind of the traditionally recommended rotation, the intensified rotation, which is being done today, so that wheat canola or that lentil durum rotation, a diversified rotation, which tries to put more pulse crops in the rotation and putting winter wheat in the place of spring wheat, a market-driven rotation where crop choices are based on commodity prices in the spring, a high-risk rotation, for example, soybeans up in the Peace region that might not quite be adapted, but maybe have potential for high rewards if it does work out, and then also a soil health rotation with a green manure phase. So we did look at yield and yield stability, nitrogen use efficiency, and economics. And at the end of the day, a lot of the data was showing that in terms of yield and yield stability, those crop rotations that are being used by farmers, that wheat canola or that lentil durum rotation, those had that yield and yield stability. If there was maybe some learnings from the study, it was what doesn't work. And that soil health rotation, because we only had harvestable yield 3 of 4 years in the cycle, we automatically had lower yield from that rotation. And also the high risk rotation, where you're growing crop types that aren't necessarily well adapted, that resulted in some poor yield and poor yield stability. I think just if there were maybe some themes, the data from the research very much justified why we have the simple crop rotations, but if there is everyone still wants to diversify their rotation and stretch that. And if there's some of the learnings or themes, it would be to try and implement more than 2 crop types in the rotation, and to try and include more pulse crops in the rotation for that fertility benefit, but also the winter cereals to help use up fall nitrogen and early spring nitrogen. So while there are many challenges, I think there are baby steps that we can take towards diversifying our rotations.